What's up, y'all? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles here. Welcome to What Sold Wednesday. In today's video, I'm going to go over Poshmark strategies. I'm going to look at offer to likes, bundles, return customers, a couple of strategies, look at the actual data to see what has been working for me and show you guys how I look at it and how you can look at it as well. I'm also going to look at platform comparisons, compare the different platforms that I sell on and how I decide where to spend my time, as well as show you the actual items that sold for me on Poshmark and eBay, Instagram, other various places that I'm selling. So let's dig right into it. Make sure if you like content like this to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification so you get notified. I do this every single Wednesday, What Sold Wednesday, various different data that I look at, but I always look at some of my data, tell you what I'm looking at and how I decide how to pivot or what is working in my business, and then show you actual items that sold. So let's get into it. Before we do that, I do have a quick question. Make sure I am live. I do have a quick question. I'm considering doing maybe a class of some sort to help you look at your data and decide what to do. I do have 3 dashboards for sale, but I'm wondering if maybe having a class to further support the dashboard or just in general support how to look at your data and how to make decisions for your business, if that would be helpful. Leave me a comment down below if you think it's helpful, or in the chat as well if you think that would be helpful. And if there's something specific that you would like me to cover, leave a comment or send me a DM on Instagram. So let's get into it. What happened for me? What's up, Jacob? Thanks for joining. What happened for me this week? So I'm going to be covering the past 2 weeks only because last week I was with Chris, so I didn't go into too much of the data for the past week. So these numbers are the past 2 weeks reselling on Poshmark, eBay, Instagram, and then this past week I also added in a auction and mystery box from my palette. So in total, Poshmark, eBay, and Instagram was $1,831.04. That's a total of 49 items. I sold 32 on eBay, 16 on Poshmark, 1 on Instagram. I am not really pushing Instagram too much. I show things, hey, I'm doing this. Hey, here's a haul. I just kind of show my work, and people are like, oh, that's really cute. Can I buy it? So I don't really push Instagram. Every once in a while, I will have people come to me and try to purchase something. So if you do want a class, definitely, if there's certain things that you have questions about, let me know either in here or send me a DM on Instagram. The other thing that I'm adding to this that increased my numbers the past 2 weeks, I purchased a palette. It was over 200 items, mainly free people. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to move all of it, process all of it. I want to it's an experiment for me. I'm at a place in my business that I've been able to save enough money that I usually do 80% of things that I know, and then I take a risk with that 20%. This palette is a big risk. It's a little bit more than the 20%, but I purchased it to kind of experiment with how does the process work? How can I get rid of it? How can I move the inventory? There's various different ways to move the inventory. Poshmark and eBay being what I normally would do, but I wanted to try a couple different things. So this past weekend, I did a live auction. And so thank you guys so much for everyone who joined. Greg's not on this chat, but Greg and Rebecca from Florida were both very big helps in this to make the live auction successful. I sold 62 items during the live auction, and then I also had mystery boxes available as well. Now, the profits out of that were less than if I was selling on Poshmark or eBay, but I wanted to see if that was something that I would be able to do if I purchased an even bigger palette, because the bigger the palette that you purchase, the more typically the less of cost of goods it's going to be because you're purchasing more. So I kind of wanted to feel that out. And then also I'm going to be sending some of it to ThreadUp to see how it goes on ThreadUp. So altogether that was 50. I didn't add it all together. So 112 items, 111 items I've sold in the past 2 weeks, making it over $3,000. I have the exact number in my thumbnail. So that's how I've been the past 2 weeks. What are you guys noticing? Let me know. This is actually down a little bit, and we'll get into my numbers in a minute, but this is down a little bit for me, minus the live auction, but just eBay and Poshmark, it is down a little bit for me. And I'm going to get into my numbers and what I think is happening and what I'm looking at and considering and pivoting and changing. But I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Are you noticing things are going down as well? What are you guys doing to pivot as well? So before we get into my actual data, I want to talk a little bit about the economy, what's happening in the economy, because this does impact our business, especially right now. Lots of things are happening. One big thing that I'm happy to hear, the post office in the US is back to normal, which is helpful for us. My call on Monday, she was a postal worker, and she said a lot of the changes they were making, things are back to normal. We should start seeing our shipments going back to normal schedule. So that's exciting. A couple of things that have changed for me, or just to let you know where I'm coming from when I'm talking about my numbers. So I am a mom of 3. I have 3 children. We have decided to remote learn my 3 and my 5-year-old. And then my 14-year-old is doing hybrid. So he is home 3 days a week as well, also special needs. So I am remote learning all day. It's actually less time consuming than I thought it would be. The teacher, I feel, is very understanding in that. So that's been helpful, but it's definitely taking time away from my business. So Poshmark is taking time away. Poshmark is very time consuming, sharing, liking, sending offers, all of that is very time consuming. eBay for me has been same. I've been spending the same amount of time. I pay someone to list, which is the majority of the time that it takes on eBay. So I'm not having to spend that time. And then I normally do my 30-ish minutes activities a day on eBay. I have videos on that and a template for what I do, a checklist on my website, www.SarahStyles.com. So you can purchase what I do every day. So I've still been continuing to do that as well. So eBay hasn't really changed for me as far as the activity that I'm doing on there. I do have 2 boxes sent to ThreadUp, and I'm going to share a little bit more about this strategy for me and why I've decided to do it when I get into my data. And then one other thing is the palette. So I purchased 1 palette, mainly Free People, Lucky, New with Tags, and actually this week I purchased a second palette of activewear to kind of see how that's going to move and groove for me as well. If you're following this journey with me, I can talk to you about up till now. If you have questions, definitely feel free, or in the chat, have questions, and I will continue to update you and share my data on the palette and if I'm going to decide if it is worth it or not. And the same goes for ThreadUp. So let's get into my data. What I am sharing with you right now is going to be I'm going to start with the Sarah Styles and the Sarah Styles sales and trends dashboard. And so this one is for all platforms. You do have to manage your own data. So you can see in here, I do track and manage all of my own data. It takes me about 30 seconds once you get into the habit of it. This one is the one that I share mainly in these videos. So I'm going to quickly go over this, and then I'm going to go into some Poshmark strategies for you guys that I've been doing, and then also get into a little bit deeper dive into my inventory. So you guys can see everything is down. This is 28 days compared to the previous 28 days. So essentially we're, 1 week into September. So August-ish compared to July-ish. July, you can look down here. July was a really good month with me. July was my highest gross month. So it makes sense that I'm a little bit down. Items sold is down. Average sale price is down. I'm listing less items. So in July, I was listing 10 items a day. Into August, I decreased that to 7 items a day because I am remote learning now. I'm not remote learning. I should say I'm remote teaching, right? I'm the teacher. My sell-through rate is down as well. I'm not going to get into my monthly summary because we're only 1 month in. I do quickly want to go over, I have notes. I do quickly want to go over my platform split and what I'm doing here and what's happening. I'm going to make a quick note. And I said this last time and I still haven't fixed it. This is my bad. When I'm tracking my data, it is case sensitive. So I must have put an eBay with a lowercase there. You can see these numbers are the same. So something I'm going to note here is you will notice, and I've talked about this on my Instagram stories today as well. Follow me on Instagram, follow my stories. That's where I'm giving the most up-to-date information because I don't have as much time to do YouTube videos. But my Poshmark is down year over year. Not only am I down month over month, which is something that you want to look at, but that can be seasonality, that can be political changes, that can be lots of factors in month to month, my time commitments. But looking year over year, I am down by a lot. I mean, to me, that's a lot. That's, a third of my revenue. I'm down on Poshmark. EBay, I wasn't on eBay this time last year. So I am up year over year because I added eBay in. However, my Poshmark is down. And I noticed this last month as well that my Poshmark was down. And this is where I want to talk about why I've added in ThreadUp. This is one of my strategies to add in ThreadUp. My sell-through rate has decreased. You can see, so there's multiple different ways that you can make more money. You can sell more items. And that's what we hear a lot in the community: make a bigger closet, sell more items, make more money, which is totally a doable strategy. However, you can also increase your average sale price. I'm going to talk in a minute about why that's not what I'm choosing. You can increase your average sale price. You can sell the same amount of items, but if each item is selling for $5 more, boom, you're going to make more money. The other thing that you can do is increase your sell-through rate. My sell-through rate is going down, and it has been trending down because I am adding more inventory, and also I think people are spending less. So my sell-through rate is down. So for me, I already have almost 1,000 items. If I can add another platform, another set of eyes, and with the inventory that I already have, I'm not spending more money. I'm not having to do a whole lot more. I can hopefully increase that sell-through rate to make more money. And when I say I'm not having to do a lot more, I really considered between Mercari and going out to another platform. However, that's one more thing that I have to manage. And as of right now, I don't have a ton of time. So I did take Chriselle. She was on my YouTube. She has a great video and she sells a course. I took her course on ThreadUp and I've sent in 2 boxes to ThreadUp. It is now off of my plate. That inventory is with ThreadUp. They ship, they price, they take photos, all of that, and I just get the payout. So I'm hoping that is one simple way for me to use the inventory that I already have to increase my sell-through rates. That being said, it's not been processed yet, and I've not been paid out for anything. So definitely make sure to subscribe, follow me, hit these notifications, because I will show you guys what's happening with the ThreadUp. Once I start getting payouts, you are going to see ThreadUp in here to see how that is performing for me, if it's actually worth my time. So that is the one thing that I'm doing there. Poshmark is down year over year. That's it. So, and I do want to note too, this is the other thing I want to know. One of my strategies going forward, I have less time right now. eBay is outperforming Poshmark, and that's been the case for the past couple of months. Once I finally got my momentum on eBay, it's definitely outperforming. I am going to be focused more on eBay than I am on Poshmark, which is like a moment for me because Poshmark used to be my main squeeze. But now that I've got eBay performing, it is less time. It's different kinds of time, and you have to figure out how to maneuver or how to work with that algorithm. But it's more time, I feel, on the back end. On sourcing, you have to have a big store. I'm finding on eBay, you have to be listing a lot. I go in and tweak things every day, but other than that, it's not a ton of items, or it's not a ton of work like the constant sharing and likes and commenting and all the social engagement of Poshmark. So I'm focusing more on eBay. And then I'm also, if you watch my video with Chris last week, and then the month before, working on some branding type things that goes into the class, and kind of just getting reselling to kind of a net, like a neutral plate, or like can't think of the word. Getting reselling to be kind of self-sufficient. That's what I'm looking for. More or less self-sufficient, so that I have extra time to be working on these other type, maybe some more YouTube videos, classes, possibly dashboards, all of that other part of my business, spending time there as well. One other thing I do want to note, just as I've mentioned it quite a few times, is ThreadUp, or is the palette. So I have purchased a palette. Once I start selling from that, it will go into here, and I will start sharing my data on that as well. The mystery boxes and the live auction is not going to be in this, because it's not things that I was selling on platforms per se. So it's not going to be compared in here. That's why you don't see this palette populated as of yet. So Megan is saying, what's up, Megan? I added Tracy's, thinking of sending some items to ThreadUp soon too. Can't wait to see how it works for you. I wonder And I did that too. So when COVID first happened, I added a bunch of different platforms and it became very overwhelming for me because you have to manage all of them. And each one of them it's not just adding a new one, a new platform. You have to figure out the algorithm, and Macari likes you to relist. So then you're adding time to relist and you're adding. So I quickly stopped that. Within a couple months, I was like, this is too much. I can't handle it. And that's why I'm thinking if I add thread up, I don't have to do that. I did have to go take my items off and manage what inventory got sent there, and manage, and I'll have to manage the payouts and stuff, but I'm not going to have to manage it like a different platform as well. Strawberry Lemonade, cute name. I agree. Once you understand eBay, it's manageable and less work after listing. Definitely agreed. And I don't list. So it is pretty manageable for me. What's up, Duncan? I'm actually glad that you're here, Duncan, because I wanted to share a piece of eBay information that I learned today, and I want to make sure that I'm saying it correctly. But Duncan, you're not on managed payments, so you may not know this. But so I'm on managed payments. I'm trying to figure out when I get paid, and I thought it was when the item shipped. So I went in there today. I shipped a bunch of items from the weekend, still didn't have my money. So I'm doing a little bit of research. The internet says that it is, I don't know. I don't remember what the internet said, but after talking with, a couple Facebook groups and eBayers, it is sounding like it's essentially 4 days from when you sell an item, 2 days for eBay to process it, and then 2 days for it to make it to your bank. So I just want to keep that in mind as people are moving over to managed payments. Let me know if you guys think it's something differently, but that's kind of where I landed when I was talking to people today. So now what we are looking at, like I said, I do have 3 dashboards for sale. They are all for sale, www.SarahStylesLLC.com. 20% off if you use, there's a code on the website if you use it. The one that we're looking at now is Sarah Styles Analytical Sales Dashboard. This is for Poshmark specific data. The nice thing about this one is you export the Poshmark. I showed on my stories yesterday how to do it. It's really easy. You export from Poshmark your Poshmark sales report, copy and paste it into here. Everything populates for you. So this one's a bit easier to manage and to look at your data because you don't have to manage the data, but it is specific to Poshmark. So something I wanted to look at, I'm going to point out this graph that I'm looking at right here, average sale per item sold. This does not come with a dashboard. This is something I quickly wanted to show you guys a visual of, but this data is just looking at these numbers right here. So you could look at it as well. I just wanted to show a visual for the video, so I made a graph real quick, but that does not come with the dashboard. So this, I wanted to look at, I'm trying to figure out what's happening, how to pivot my business, what's going on as I have less time, and I'm noticing Poshmark's making less year over year. August was less for me with eBay. I'm thinking it was managed payments, but I'm not completely sure. I wanted to see what was going on. So I quickly looked at the average sale price. My inventory more or less has stayed the same over May, June. I did add a little bit less average sale items to my closet, but for the most part, it stayed the same. However, my average sale price has been going down. And one reason that I started looking at this is the past couple days to a week to almost even a month, I've been getting messages on eBay, Poshmark saying, hey, I really like this item, but I'm budgeting right now because of COVID, I've lost my job, or all of these things. And like one of them, you're like, okay, maybe, they're just trying to get a good deal out of you, but I'm getting multiples of these. And what I'm noticing is the average sale price is going down. People are out there shopping, and you guys are probably, let me know if you're noticing the same thing. You're getting offers for, I used to get offers for 20% off. Now I'm getting offers for 50% off. And that's kind of where everything is going. So my average sale price has been going down. I looked at this. I was talking with Chris last week and I was like, what's going on eBay? What's happening? I looked at this talking with Chris and I decided to cut my prices on eBay because what happens is I list an item and it goes there until it sells. And I don't go back and relook at my comps. I don't factor in, hey, we've been in COVID for 6 months. People are losing their jobs, not spending as much money. My prices are probably not as competitive anymore. And maybe that's why I'm not having as many sales. So End of last week, I cut my prices, I think like 5%, but I just went to bulk edit, cut all my prices 5%. And since then, I've been having a lot more sales. I think part of it is eBay just likes activity, right? So that probably boosted me a little bit as well, but also just being a bit more competitive. And I'm also taking a lot more offers than I probably wouldn't have done before. So let me check in with the chat real quick. Duncan is saying manage payments. They process the payments from 1 day batch first, then it takes a couple days, then transfer to your bank 3 to 5 days, excluding weekends. So this is something to keep in mind, resellers, especially if you rely on this income. It is changing. It's not PayPal. You're not getting it right away. So can take up to 7 to 10 days in some cases, depending on your bank. What's up, Lauren? eBay still hasn't switched me to manage payments yet. When I go to the page, it only lets me express interest. That's interesting. I have no idea. Maybe reach out. I have the best luck when I reach out to eBay on Facebook. Duncan saying, I'm going to manage payments at some point. I'm going to trim my eBay store and have already started supplying British. Oh, you're starting to supply, Duncan. That's interesting. That's kind of what I was. So when I bought the pallet, I let go of a lot of inventory for much less than it could sell, only making a couple bucks here and there, selling it to other resellers. But that's essentially what wholesalers do, right? If you can build up enough volume to be supplying to other people, you're only making a couple bucks on each item. But if you can sell a large volume, that is another way to make money. Okay, so let's get back to Poshmark. I do want to quickly look at a couple other things that I looked at on Poshmark. Something that I had been considering, I had been thinking that I noticed more sales at the beginning of the month. It's the beginning of the month. People have money. They're not low on funds. It totally makes sense, right? But it's just something that I had been thinking was happening, and I actually wanted to look at it and see if that is what was happening. So you can see it's not as nice of a pattern as I was hoping. Like I was visualizing that you could easily see the pattern, but you can definitely notice, this is January, beginning of January, there's a big cluster goes up and a big cluster of sales. And then you come to February, here's another big cluster as well. March, I didn't notice as much, but keep in mind, March is kind of when COVID hit. Right? So lots of stuff happening, definitely lower sales here as well. In through April, a little bit of a higher sales right here, but then you come in through the beginning of May and you see another big cluster here. June, you see another big cluster here as well. July, I mean, look at the big, so now you're looking July 7th, people have got paid, they've paid their mortgage, they've paid their, bills that are due at the beginning of the month, have a little bit of extra, and they're doing it here. And then again, you can look at August, that's my biggest day, which is surprising because I had a terrible August, but I did have a lot of sales that day. So that's something that I noticed. And I think something that I'm going to do to play off of this is the beginning of the month, people have money that they want to spend. So maybe on Poshmark, I am being very aggressive with offers. I'm sending out more bundles. I'm listing more items. I'm being more active on eBay. Maybe I'm doing some things to get a little bit more activity at the beginning of the month. I'm going to kind of play that out and see how that goes. And that's something I thought that was kind of interesting. Offer to likes. I go back and forth on offer to likes, and let me know what you guys do with offer to like. So this is, and I do want to know actually, the data that we're looking at, this is actually year-to-date data, because I wanted to be able to have a good idea of what's really going on in my Poshmark business this year. The more data you have, the more stable it's going to be. So for the entire year so far, up through September, my offer to likes is about 15%. I'm getting the majority of my offers are coming from other offers. So this is either they counter offer my offer or they send me an offer. And then 12% is coming from buy it now. So essentially, I mean, you look at this chart and you're like, okay, other offers, maybe I should quit doing offer to likes. The other thing that I want to know as well too is I looked at this trying to conceptualize what was happening, but I want to come down here too and look at my average sale price per item by these strategies, because if I'm getting a ton of sales from offer to likes, but they're not producing as much money, then yes, I'm getting sales from it, but is it actually making me money? And so you can see my offer to likes is actually The second highest, buy it now being the highest, which makes sense. My second largest is actually offer to likes, and other offers is actually lower than my bundles. So of the three strategies, my other offer is actually lower. My buy it now is the highest. However, my buy it now has a less percent. So this again goes into my strategy that I'm talking about on eBay. And I think what I'm going to do, unfortunately on Poshmark, you can't easily do this. So it's going to take me time, but this is kind of telling me that I need to rethink my pricing strategy for what's happening right now. I want buy it nows. Those are going to give the highest value. And so if I can price my items to where people are like, this is a good fair price, I'm not going to send an offer, let me do it right away. Or if it's priced fairly and they want a little bit less, they're more willing to send a higher offer. So I'm kind of thinking that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through, reprice some things for the market that's going on right now, because when I price, some of these items I've had pre-COVID, and so they were priced differently than what is also on the market. The other thing you have to think about is, well, the reseller market is totally saturated with new people. People are losing their jobs. They're getting cut back in hours. They want this side hustle. I have stuff around my house. I'm going to get rid of it. They don't care. They will take any, offer me $5 for that item. Cool. The thing that happens with that is then it's going to lower our comps as well. And that's something you have to consider. While the value of this Coach bag was this a year ago, that may not be its value right now. And you have to work with the market that you're in. So let me check in with the chat. So Duncan's saying, to understand sales trends, you have to understand what's happening in the economy. This is very true. And this is why at the beginning of the video, I do like to touch base on what's going on. Definitely keep up on what's going on a little bit more. I don't want to just spend the whole show talking about it, but be watchful of what's happening in the world. Sometimes it's not necessarily what you're doing, but look at your data and be able to pivot. And that's what I'm doing. Some things are happening in the economy. How is that impacting my business? What am I going to do to pivot? Yeah, so offer to like, I price a little higher, so it allows for the offer to like a discount. Very true. I typically will price 20 to 30% above what I think, what a comp is, what I think I would get for the item. But I'm noticing that comp is going down, right? And I will actually show it because I'm not going to show it for the sake of time. But last week or 2 weeks ago, I showed it in this chart up here. My bags has always been a top performer for me. They're still selling. However, my bags August last year compared to August this year, the sell-through rate is still about the same. It's about $10 lower price. And that is absolutely because people are spending less money, because my knowledge in handbags has only gotten better. So I'm actually sourcing better handbags. It's not because I'm sourcing worse. It's because people are spending less. So my point in all of this is happening. You can either cry about, no, I don't want to be so mean, but you can either be like, oh no, I don't like this isn't, and complain about it, or you can look at your data, pivot your business, and find new ways to make that money. I shared a couple of the things that I'm doing for you. I'm going to lower my prices, which means that my average sale price is going to go down. But if my average sale price goes down, that just means that I need to increase my volume to make the money that I want to make. That to me is finding ways on the back end to be sourcing more items, to be spending less time, being more efficient with shipping, more efficient. If I'm doing a larger volume, I need to be more efficient in other things as well. Customers, I do want to touch on this as well. And I was thinking about something else today. But this is why I'm so big on looking at your data is, technically I'm an influencer now, so I can talk about myself, but you watch YouTubers and Instagrammers and all these people that are like, oh, look at this Bolo brand and look at what's selling for me and this, that, and the other. And I think it's really great. It's amazing that we have all of this knowledge out there. However, the thing that we have to keep in mind is those people have followers. They have my eBay number since I have been monetized, since I've hit, influencer status on Instagram, my eBay numbers of external views has significantly gone up. Now, if those people are buying or not, I'm not sure. I'm sure some of them are. And so when you're watching a lot of these social media people that are saying Bolo brands, this is selling for me, I'm not saying don't try it, but you also don't have that volume of social media status, right? Like you're not having these external people coming to your closet. You have to work what's working for you. Why am I saying this now for return customers? Reason being is my repeat customers have actually increased, and I'm pretty sure that that is due to social media. And it is due to social media because, and I've also been putting stickers. I've been putting a scan card in all of my packages saying, hey, save me as a favorite. That doesn't mean as much on Poshmark because you have a gazillion followers on Poshmark, right? But it also goes to my eBay, my social media, and all of that as well. But my percent of returning customers has increased. And also I've noticed in eBay, I'm not going to show here, but in eBay, just for the sake of time, in eBay, you can see where your views are coming from. And my external views have increased as I've continued to increase my social media status, or whatever you want to call it, right? So something I wanted to show you guys this chart, one, because of social media. So when you don't have to do social media, but for me to decide, is social media worth it for me? One, I do a lot of it because I like learning, or I like teaching and showing you guys data as well in that aspect of my business. But is it actually working for my reselling part of my business? And yes, I think it is helpful. It takes a lot of upfront time and work. You don't see the results, until you get to a certain level, which takes a lot of time and work. So it's not for everybody, but this is kind of me saying, yes, I do think it is worth it, as well as the numbers that I see on eBay. The other thing that I'm going to do, and Daniela from Ivy and Blush, I was on her Instagram live, I think we were talking about it. Ivy and Blush Bottega, she is an awesome YouTuber, and Instagram, follow her, but we were talking about it, and her return customers is 10%. Which is really high for Poshmark. The Poshmark doesn't give you any tools to get repeat buyers. And so we're talking about things that she does, and she is actually going into previous buyers and saying, hey, you bought something for me, whatever she says, but she's hitting up previous buyers because they've purchased from me one time before. So I think something that I'm going to do, lay off a little bit of the offer to likes and spend some more time getting those customers that have left 5-star reviews, that have left really nice love notes, that already liked my items, and try and see if I can't get them as returning customers. Because once I get them a couple times, they're just going to keep coming back, right? So that's kind of my stance on that. I do quickly... Yeah, so Duncan, I was thinking about you and I was saying that. The repeat customers is awesome. That is a big part of my business. The same guys keep coming back for more. Definitely. And I think if you are very niched in, Duncan, and I don't know how big the market is, how much competition that you have, but you're definitely very niched in. I sell women's clothing. Nothing crazy, but I do think the customer service that I provide, I was talking to someone and they looked at my eBay reviews and they're like, you have a lot of eBay they're not love notes, reviews more than normal. And I think I'm always quick shipping. I don't package fancy, but I do try and provide really good customer service as well. Real quickly, if you guys like content like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications, and also make sure to give a like. Leaving comments as well helps boost my video so that it gets ranked higher and more people can see this. So if you find value in this content, the more that you do active with the content allows it to get pushed up higher on YouTube so other people can see the video as well. Okay, now we are looking at Sarah Styles inventory dashboard. And this again is for Poshmark. You copy and paste your sales report and here, and then this one also looks at your inventory report. It's nice to know your top brands. If you look at just what's sold, it doesn't give you a true picture because you don't know of what. Like if I sold 100 Calvin Klein items, I'm like, oh yeah, I sold 100 Calvin Klein items. But if I had 10,000 Calvin Klein items and I only sold 100, that's not great, right? And so that's why I pull in the inventory report as well. So you can look at what you're selling compared to what you have. That's where the sell-through rate comes from, how much you're selling out of how much you have. You get a percentage. 100% means you're selling 100% of your items. Yes, this is very good. This is a very good. And I'm glad you said that, Duncan. Offers to likes actually boost the items sometimes, and they end up selling for full price to someone else. That is 100% true. And so I always send offers on eBay, even if it's a low offer, as low as they'll let you go, just to give that boost. Poshmark, I have been spending every night sending out offers to every single like, but Poshmark makes it very time consuming. And I'm wondering if my time isn't maybe better spent trying to get those repeat customers instead of sending out offers. So I think maybe I'll go back and forth. Like maybe one night I'll send out offers and then one night I'll hit up not old, but I'll hit up customers that I've had before. Okay, so I quickly want to look at top brands and then we will get into, I quickly want to look at some of my inventory data. The reason that, so people will ask me, hey, you have 3 dashboards, which one should I buy? And in a nutshell, my answer is all 3. I use all 3. I create these because of stuff that I want to look at, and then I make them easily accessible to everybody else. So I have created all of them because they're all stuff that I do use and I do look at. I also have other spreadsheets that I don't have for sale that I look at. I look at a lot of things, but it's a business. I want to make money. I want to spend the most out of my time. But in a nutshell, so this one, if you're only wanting to buy one and you don't know, my first video on my YouTube will go into this into detail. You can always ask me a question, but the analytical inventory one is Poshmark only, but it gives a little bit of a deeper dive into the data. So this is top brands. You can see this. This is the same information as here, just in a different view. So if that's all you're looking for, then the sales and trends one gives you that. However, actually, let me talk about this and then I'll show you some of the differences after this. So, sorry, I made notes and I want to make sure that I cover it all for you guys. Oh, yes. So this is something that's interesting. So my most sold is Calvin Klein. You also have to know your data. And I know for me, Calvin Klein is, before I purchased a palette, I purchased from 2 different people that I know that purchase palettes. I purchased off of their palettes. So I wasn't stuck with the entire palette, but I wanted to I went over to their house and I looked at it and kind of got a feel for the process, asked them questions, and then I purchased some items off of their palette to get a feel for how things would sell and how the process is, and things that I wouldn't have known to look out for unless I kind of did that. Right. So, and one of the things that I did, one of the palettes was like an active wear lot. So it was Calvin Klein, Nike, Adidas, active wear type of items. So that Calvin Klein for me is mainly new with tag Calvin Kleins. I normally don't pick up that much Calvin Klein unless it's like a career wear dress. I don't normally pick up that much Calvin Klein. However, I have been selling the most. So now we're looking at just the month, looking at August through yesterday. So the first week of September, but I have sold the most Calvin Klein. And so for me, something that comes out of this is one, that palette is selling well. So that makes me feel a little bit better in my purchasing a palette and moving forward into purchasing another palette. If it's something similar, the other thing that's telling me is activewear. And I know that we've been hearing this. I hadn't really seen it so much in a trend for me. A little bit, but I also don't have a lot of activewear as well. But my top most sold brand is activewear items. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Calvin Klein, it doesn't, so this will tell you just quickly. Average sale price is $24. But if it's selling quickly, I don't mind that so much. I'm not going to go into this at all, but this will tell you this information is going to be the same as this information in different views. So if you only are on Poshmark, it'll tell you the same stuff as well. I actually did want to look at sell-through rates. So keep in mind, here's our sell-through rates. And this gives you a nice little visual as well. So shoes, I need to chill out on the shoes maybe. I have a lot of shoes, 200 shoes. My sell-through rate is only 4.5% on shoes. So the one I did want to look at, again, intimates and sleepwear. So for me, intimates and sleepwear is a little bit more of like the active lounge wear. I don't sell like bras and panties, but it's going to be more like pajamas and that kind of stuff. And that is my highest sell-through rate. Again, that's telling me active wear, active leisure type wear is where people are going. And that's actually the last palette that I purchased. Not the one that I showed this weekend, that was Free People, but the one that I purchased on Monday, so it'll be here in a couple of weeks, is activewear. And this is what I looked at to decide. You go, there's so many places when you are sourcing online, you're open to so many places and so much inventory that I really had to figure out what I was going to hone in on and purchase. And this is another reason that I decided to go with an active leisure wear type thing. The one other thing that I want to look at is, I'm going to look at my jeans. So I did stock up on jeans. Normally August, September, and then into the fall and the spring, jeans sell like hotcakes because people go back to school. Most kids are not most, but there are kids that are remote learning. I don't know the percent breakout. I know when I did a poll on my Instagram, it was like 80% are remote learning. So, but my kids' school, 80% are going to school. Either way, kids are not as many kids as last year are going back to school, as well as people are working from home, right? So I'm going to keep an eye on this jeans and see how it goes as well. The one other thing I want to look at, and then we will jump into the fun part and showing you exactly what sold, is, guys, how have your sales been? I don't know. Poshmark, I think a little bit is the remote learning because I'm not on Poshmark as well, but I was also noticing that downward trend before we officially started remote learning. eBay, I think August was down because of managed payments. I'm seeing a bit of an increase as far as number of sales, not so much average sale price though. So let's look at the jeans. I just quickly wanted to check on what kind of jeans. So boyfriends seem to be selling at the highest sell-through rate. Again, sell-through rate, 29% of the inventory that I had stocked has sold if it was a boyfriend, 25% of high rise. So these are kind of good ones to keep an eye out for to see what's selling. So who wants to see some data or some items that actually sold? All right, let's start. Can you guys see that? It's off center on my chart. Okay, you can see it. What actually sold? So this backpack was the last time I showed you. This is starting Colombia. So I'm in Colorado, and I had someone ask me today, do people in Colorado wear anything besides activewear? The answer is no. No, just kidding. A lot of people wear activewear, I myself included. So I do find Colombia, Patagonia, Lululemon, all of these the North Face stuff in thrift stores quite often. So Columbia is going to be the bottom tier of those. So it's going to sell less, but Columbia always sells, especially if I purchase the heavier jackets are going to sell. This one sold for $40. This was an offer that someone sent me. It was priced at $44 and they sent it to me for $40. And I was like, I will absolutely take that. I appreciate it. Here is a pair of H&M high rise. The North Face. Two things I want to know on both of these. These are lower prices than I was anticipating when I purchased them. The North Face, I had it priced probably closer to $40, but someone sent me an offer. And like I said, I'm accepting more offers because people are, I think, still wanting to spend money, but don't necessarily have as much. Same girl, same. So I find Lululemon fairly often. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see Lululemon. I find it fairly often. One thing, I shop a lot of thrift stores and most of the thrift stores know Lululemon, so they price it high. So a lot of times it's not worth it to resell, but then also I find it and I keep it for myself. I'm in activewear, loungewear. I have pajamas on the sweatpants on the bottom for sure. So this was part of, I purchased some stuff from my cousin. She sold it. She closed her boutique down about a year ago and I purchased a bunch of stuff from her. True Religion, here's a pair of jeans. True Religion has been hit or miss, but $34. I was pretty happy about that. These shoes are from one of the palettes that I bought from a friend. So she purchased a shoe palette. And I bought probably like 50 shoes from her to get a feel for it. And I'm glad that I did, because I was looking at buying shoes and I didn't, because I saw the condition that they were in. She got a lot of really good ones out of them, but they also, so on a pallet, they just throw a bunch of stuff in. With shoes, these were all supposed to be new with tags, and a lot of them had scuffs. They had stains beyond repair because they just threw them in. It's much less likely to happen with clothes. In fact, out of everything that I purchased, one item had a hole in it because some of the clothes got sent with hangers on them still. And so it like snagged a hole in it. And then one item I ruined because I thought it was a magnetic security tag, and I tried really forcefully to get it off, and the ink spurted out everywhere. So if you're looking at getting a pallet, make sure to have ways to take off security tags. This was a bundle. So as mentioned, I priced this, I add this for free with a bundle if they purchase a bundle. So these two thrift stores, these are both from thrift stores. This is a thrift store. I source mainly at thrift stores. But jeans, right? Shoes are selling Michael Kors. Michael Kors is so hit or miss. I will pick up Michael Kors purses if they're nice purses. You can see what kind of purses I sell. But I will pick up Michael Kors purses, and sometimes I'll pick up their shoes if they're very low price, because it's hit or miss on how they're going to sell. This fringe, we had snow yesterday and today here in Colorado. It was 97 degrees on Monday, and then it snowed yesterday and a little bit of flurries today. So it's kind of wild to me that someone bought this, but is what it is. This purse was listed Sunday. Less than an hour, it sold for full price to a guest, which means, so this is one of the buy it nows, but it means that my SEOs were up to par and my pictures came through Google because they likely found it on a Google or Pinterest. This, I was expecting a little bit higher, but someone sent me an offer and I was like, I'm also not in the business of hoarding. Like, I have almost 1,000 items and I can maybe hold on to them. I have this discussion with my husband. Okay, well, why don't you hold on to it until the economy recovers and things go up? And I'm like, well, in 4 years or whenever this happens again, when the economy recovers, like, people aren't necessarily going to want the same trends as they want right now. And so then my stuff's going to be not relevant, right? And so I'm not in the business of hoarding it, hoping to get $3 more, right? This was, so I've messed around with a picker and having someone buy stuff at bins for me. This is something that she picked up. And then this is something that I purchased from the, this is something that I purchased from a friend who purchased a pallet. So that's Poshmark. That's 2 weeks of sales for me. That is about, let me look at my exact number. 16. So that's 16 in 2 weeks. Normally, the week before 2 weeks ago, I sold 17 in 1 week. So that's about half of what I normally sell on Poshmark. So that's kind of what I was talking about earlier and why I'm kind of trying to pivot to, that's why I'm trying to pivot to, let me go back to my Poshmark. You're asking a question. Do you pin the main picture after each new posting on Poshmark? Or pin to Pinterest from Poshmark or from eBay? If you can clarify, I can answer that. There is, so to that point, back to this point, I'm assuming this is what brought that up. So this came from a guest buyer, which means that it was searched on Google or Pinterest. Google and Pinterest are the top search engine. So if you can get your items to come up top there, then you're going to have an even wider audience. And eBay as well likes a white background. So make sure, and that's where knowing your SEOs and having a white background is helpful. I'm assuming, yes. So I'm assuming she's asking pin to Pinterest from Poshmark. Yes. So I have, unfortunately, this is one of the downfalls of eBay. Let me look at, so here's a closet. So if you do this edit, I don't know if it's going to show on here. I usually do stuff on my phone. Yes. Okay. So if you, this is one of the things I like about Poshmark. If you can set this to automatically update to Pinterest. Great question. A vintage joy. So all of my Poshmarks, when they first get listed, they're automatically sent to Pinterest. And then once a day, I edit next list about 20-ish items, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on my day. And that refreshes it on Pinterest. It does not get refreshed on Pinterest, and it does not refresh on external like Google unless you edit next list. Sharing refreshes it to the top on Pinterest. If you want to refresh it to the top on search engines, you have to, what I just showed you, edit next list. Unfortunately, you cannot do that on eBay. You can, however, I don't have my eBay up and we are running low on time, but on eBay, you can go to your listing and up at the top, Duncan taught me this, but up at the top, there is a Pinterest icon and you can send it to Pinterest. So it's one extra step, I feel, but yeah, you, that can help. So I have thought about maybe sending a couple more to Pinterest every day as well. So we are on strict time today for 5:30. My husband does have a late work call at 6. So I want to get done with this to have dinner before he has his work call. So I did have 32 sales on eBay. So that's double. My eBay sales were double the last 2 weeks than Poshmark was. And I was spending less time. Time is money. So I'm wondering if it would be helpful to spend more time on taking pictures, on finding inventory and listing more inventory than on Poshmark, or shipping things, spending time getting things sent to ThreadUp. That's kind of where I am. Follow me to see my progress and the data that I look at to help me decide what to do. So let's look at the actual items. But like I said, I sold 32 items. So I am probably not going to make it through all of those before the end. This is a theory dress. It was very surprising to me. It wasn't with tags, but very surprising that someone purchased that right now in the middle of COVID. This was the Sundance. This was a best offer. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I did a price decrease of 5% on my entire store. And then I also did a 10% off sale. Sales have started to pick up a little bit because of that. Prices, my average sale price is going to probably reflect that, but I think that's just kind of the state that we're in right now. And that's kind of what I'm doing to help with that. This is a watch. I think that was a best offer. This fast and free. So this actually, someone sent me an offer and it was a little bit lower than I probably would have taken anyways. I took it and then I forgot that I had fast and free on. And so I actually made even less because I had to send a purse. Fortunately, it was bendable that I could put it in a flat rate shipping. So it didn't cost me as much as other purses would have. This is a new tag hat. These are, velvet jogger pants, leisure, athletic wear, a sports bra. This came from the palette as well. Jeans, these were a best offer. I had them for $20. The best offer was $10. Again, that's probably less than I maybe would have countered before, but I was like, you know what? Someone sent me an offer. I'm going to take it. The other thing with accepting lower offers sometimes too is sales beget sales. So if you take an offer and yes, it's a little bit more, then maybe it'll tell eBay or Poshmark, hey, things are selling. Let's, bump up the whatever happens back in the algorithm world. When I have a sale, it seems like more sales start rolling in. So if I have to take a $5 hit here to get 4 more sales, I'm going to do it. Oh, this is so cute. I hadn't heard of this brand before I bought it from my sister-in-law. They have really cute stuff. This is new with tags. Coach shoes. So most of my Coach is going to be purses, but these shoes, I don't remember. I think they were a best offer. If they were my size, I probably would have kept them. I thought they were cute. This I found at the bins. Surprisingly, I had it for, I think, almost over a year. But it's just a Coach dog coat. Sold. I think most of my stuff are best offers. This, I don't know what this is. It's a posture pump spine trainers. I don't know. So my brother-in-law consigns a little bit of stuff with me and he does like electronics and I don't know what it is. I take the pictures and my lister figures out what it is, but it's sold. So this is also something from my brother-in-law. It looks like it was new in the box, so I don't know if it actually works, but it was old. It was definitely vintage. Texas Instruments. Y'all, I'm gonna give you a little tip. If you see graphing calculators, pick them up, especially because most thrift stores, or like you can get them on Facebook Market and stuff, garage sales, people don't have any use to keep them after they've, gone to high school or even college and they use them. Most people don't use a graphing calculator anymore, but they go like hotcakes on eBay for good prices. This one sold for 32. I've had some that have sold up to 80 bucks. Super easy to list, super easy to ship as well. If you're using USPS with eBay labels and managed payments, watch out. They're claiming incorrect box sizes and taking further charges out of your payments. Good to know, Duncan. Another thing that I had heard too is eBay is recommending UPS because of something. So if you go in there and don't pay attention to what it's listed as, it may be doing a UPS and then charging you more as well. So this is vintage. These were so cute. I found them at a thrift store. Total vintage candies. Amazingness. This is part of that palette. So this is Nike. I'm surprised this one took as long as it did to sell. Most of the other Nike that I purchased from the lady who purchased the palette sold pretty quickly. I think maybe because it was white. Michael Kors, I got these for $1 at a garage sale. I would not have paid much more than that because, like I said, Michael Kors is hit or miss. Super surprised. These were a best offer, but I still think it was around $35 or $40. And heels, like, I'm trying to understand what's happening with people right now. And then someone buys a pair of heel Michael Kors sandals to go to an event. I don't know. LL Bean, I think this was new with tags. What surprises me, my brother-in-law got this. What surprises me is it has this logo on it, and people still buy it. I've seen it with Patagonia too. It'll have like a Twitter logo, like a brand logo on it, a company logo on it. People will still buy it. It'll sell for less, but this is from the palette that I bought from my friend who bought a palette. So to get an idea, these either sold for full price or a very, very good offer. I don't remember exactly, but I remember getting it and being like, oh, thought those would go for less. This is something from my brother-in-law. I'm going to crank through these. Do you think I can get through in 4 minutes? This was from my loungewear, comfortable pants, super comfortable. But then if you go to the grocery store, you don't look, like you're in your pajamas still. Active wear, again, this is actually a return. They said it didn't fit them, but it's a vintage. It had a ton of likes. This is something I have been countering back on. The first day that I got it, I had 3 offers on it, so I knew that it had and it had like 9 views. I had an offer on Poshmark. Like, it was definitely had steam to it. So I did hold out because most of the offers were like $40. And the person who purchased it finally purchased it for like 80 or 90, but then they said it was too small. So they're returning it. This, I kind of was hoping it would fit me. I love Halloween. I have a couple of these left, so I'm thinking they'll probably sell before Halloween. A pair of jeans. I'm pretty sure these look boyfriends. Did I tell you boyfriend jeans? So if you're on the lookout for jeans, boyfriend is a keyword to use as well. Keen sandals. These were pretty tore up. I think I got them at a thrift store for a pretty decent price. But Keen sandals, I rarely sell kids stuff anymore unless it's my kids stuff, but I will pick up Keen because they sell kids. Keens sell. I mean, 15, 20 bucks, but they definitely sell. This is from my cousin's boutique, new with tags. This is one of the purses. This sold, it was a best offer. If you guys haven't been following Colorado news, our state's on fire. Hopefully the snow helped, but we are about 2 hours from the closest fire, and there's ash. Like, you go outside in our front yard and you can like wipe ash off of the table. So my eyes, and it's like allergies. So excuse me picking my eye. This one sold like $100. I'm pretty sure was the best offer. So thank you. Another pair of jeans. Distressed is another thing that I'm noticing that does well as well. Pair of glasses. These were from my brother-in-law. I don't know this brand, but I'll be on the lookout for it now. They sold in like a week. These I'd had forever. The problem with these, they are a lower end brand and just kind of random, but size 5.5. So I'm very watchful on what sizes I pick up because I had those forever. Harley Davidson, most of the Harley Davidson stuff I found sells, not always super high, but Harley Davidson, they have fans. This was a dress. Again, it's kind of weird to me because it snowed, so I'm not like in summer weather anymore, but it sold new with tags. Another pair of jeans, BKE. I'm noticing these ranges. I'm still, if you guys have thoughts on which BKE to pick up, some of the BKE is selling much higher than others, so I'm trying to work on this. Did it have, let's see if it shows. No, I thought it had embroidery. Oh yeah, you can see a little bit on the back detailing. If something has like distressed embroidery embellishment, I will tend to pick it up because I think that sells better too. This was new with tags for my cousin's boutique. This, I don't know, a copier, toner, printer, copier. What's funny is it expires in 2013 and people will come online to buy it, I guess. Oh, we're at 5:30. I have 4 more to go and then I am signing off. So if you have questions, drop them down below. The North Face, I'm in Colorado. We find it. It sells the thinner little jackets like this sell less than like a big heavy jacket, but definitely it will sell. Sell-through rate is great. New with tag pair of jeans. Again, here you go. Boyfriend. So Boyfriend is still pretty in right now. This purse was gorgeous. It came with a matching set. I sourced this on Poshmark and sold it on eBay. This dress I'd had literally forever. I don't even know if I made a profit on it anymore. It was a best offer and I don't remember what they bought it for. So that is it. I am going off to have some dinner with my family. Some good sales all over, Sarah. I agree, just not to the volume that I want, which is why I have added thread up. And then I'm also wondering if I should maybe chill out and spend less time on Poshmark and just really increase my eBay. So let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. That is where I'm giving the most current information. I don't have as much time for YouTube, but I am on my stories daily on Instagram, answering DMs on Instagram as well as daily posts during the weekday. Daily posts during the weekday. So if you guys do want to reach out, that's the place to do it. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you guys next week. I do have Monday is my accountability call at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard. I know one person is coming for sure. I can't remember who it is, but there are other spots open if you would like to join as well. Have a good night.